for December of 2017, January, February, March of 2018. I split the energies so to focus more specifically on what the masculine and feminine sides, break it down. So the first card I get for the Capricorn females is compassion. So you may be in your heart-centered place and sitting there for quite a while. I feel like there's been an awakening of sorts to you guys. I'm saying you guys, but you women, where you are seeing the benefits of holding things in compassion rather than in a higher sense of logic. And we're seeing the difference here, and we're feeling the rewards. I think is really what's going on. So from a compassionate side of things is where you're sitting, and that's a good place to be because that's where we're headed. The next card you get is pleasure. So again, feeling the results of that, and part of that is pleasure. Finding more pleasure in the everyday things than you used to be able to even absorb. You were kind of in the mundane there, and since you've got into your compassionate side, you're really feeling things at a depth that is almost shocking to you, yet you are sensing it anyway. So that's good, because we need to understand that. We need to understand the different sides of things. So that's really good. The next card is irresistibility. So coming from the compassion, and I feel like for some of these Capricorns, the irresistibility factor is kind of lost within yourself. You're feeling better. You're feeling, but outside of you, you're going, well, I'm still the same person, like, but you've changed, you know, and the compassion really makes you more irresistible to those outside of you. I feel like there's a bit of a disillusion between you looking at yourself from yourself and people looking at you from themselves and what they're seeing at this point. And I think you have a circle of friends or a circle of people or acquaintances that are coming into view here that are really making you aware of that. And that's not a bad thing. And when you have pleasure and irresistibility, that could also mean the physical senses in a way of a partner, and indulging in that as well. So don't want to leave that out. That's really keying into that. So if you are feeling irresistible, know that that is something that transfers very well to your partner, and that is why you may be getting a little extra feedback in that way. The next card I get is hope. We're working our way to the top of the pyramid here, and hope. There's something here that you're not, I'm getting a sense of void for you, like you're feeling very well endowed with your compassion and all of that. But I'm feeling a sense that there's something here that's missing, and you're trying to fill that. But you have a hope that it's coming your way. So that's kind of loosening the burden a little bit. It's making it a little more easy to, how do you say, easy to take the void when you know that, you know, it's coming. It's just not here yet, that kind of thing. So there's a passive sense, but yet a void nonetheless. Now, the next card I get is cycles. Now be careful, because this is in trine with pleasure and irresistibility. So this is definitely going to be cycles within the romantic personal relationships going forward. This is exactly what is coming about. So be careful of going through, loopings. And when I say loopings, I mean same cycles you're going through and you have gone through and whatever. You may be feeling very irresistible. You may be feeling very pleasurable. But be careful of the cycles that'll hit you, because you may not be prepared for another cycle here. You know what you've come from. You don't want another repeat. So don't jump before you, don't leap before you look type thing. So be aware of that. Now we end up at self-love. And this is all good when we have self-love, pleasure, irresistibility, compassion, hope, and the cycles. It's really, I think, you may be making a choice here to stay single rather than go in a direction of a love. But you may indulge in the physical side of things first before you make that decision, and then you kind of veer away from that. That's the sense I'm getting, is that you may dip into that pool first and find out, ooh, that water's cold, I'm not going there. And then you decide, you know what, I'm going to be independent here, and I'm going to put my foot down. Now, whether that sticks, I don't know. But, really getting a sense in the love side of things is overpowering this. This is very important at this time for you. Beware of your cycles. And I think you are aware. And from this triangle alone, we come at a self-love here. I appreciate myself more than I appreciate the problems I can see in you before I make them. And so that's a good thing. So they've learned from the past. And so far over this spring, we're going to be making good decisions. So I'm going to leave it at that before I go in tune any further. But I throw 3 tarot cards to kind of accentuate things. And the first of those I get is that Knight of Cups, and he's right by the irresistibility, but he's walking towards the future. So we got to be aware of that. There could be an offer here. It could be a water sign, or it just could be someone who's highly emotional and a little intuitive and very in tune with how they feel, and they're willing to go outward with that. Again, going in the direction away from your irresistibility. So this may be a connection that's coming in the future or that you haven't made yet, but nonetheless in your in your energy field here. So the next card I get is the Nine of Cups. Now, the Knight of Cups and the Nine of Cups. The Knight is walking towards the Nine of Cups. Now, the Nine of Cups is a symbol of getting your wishes fulfilled. In this deck, the woman is sitting, contemplating almost as if in a dream state. Like, I wish, right? So if we have a Knight of Cups wandering in that direction, it means that this is something that you are formulating in your mind and is possible for the future. And I feel like it's in the midst of manifestation. So be very specific when you're daydreaming about what exactly you want. So don't dream about an ex if you don't want him back. Dream about the future of, someone that you want in your future. The next card we get is the Emperor, and he's looking at the Nine of Cups. So the Emperor is a take charge kind of dude. He could also be, an Aries type figure, a fiery sign. We've got a lot of red in this here, but there's a lot of water as well. We have a lot of action-oriented leadership type qualities in this guy, and he is looking up at the whole process. So I feel like what's going on here is there's a partner that's coming to you in the future. You just really have to keep going and keep fending off these cycles. I feel like there's a couple more coming at you where you could get tripped up or pulled in. And if you get pulled in, then there's a lesson there that you have to learn. You just take that with you and you go forward. No big deal. But I feel like for the most part, there's one partner here that's going to come into your irresistibility bubble, and he's not going to break it. He's basically going to get kicked to the curb, and this is a valid choice that you need to make in order to stand tall in who you are and where you need to go forward, because you are really seeing a pattern here in that person that you've made before, and that's really the learning result is you're gonna pass this up for something better, and then the next one's gonna be a little better than that. We watch for the pitfalls, and then the next one, because it's not just one and then the other one's okay. We gotta there's lessons here, and the more you pass, the harder they are to kind of see at first, right? So nonetheless, this is the situation, is there is some love coming, and I feel like you really have a few more lessons and cycles to go through before that true lasting one hits. And also, as we move along, it's going to get a little harder to suss out what is good and not good. So hopefully, through the process, the lessons that you need to learn, or if you've gained them all, you will just kind of fly through. It will all be there for you. So very much a personal reading on the relationship side of things for the Capricorn female. So for the power of surrender cards, that's usually something you have to give up or accentuate. But basically, these are really kind of universal agreement cards. They're things that the universe is trying to push you to accentuate. And then I call upon a fortune card to give you some kind of a bonus here in a way. So the power of surrender card that I picked for you is surrender to your soul's path. Your life's journey has been perfectly designed for your soul's growth. Embrace every lesson and every moment. And I do feel that you realize this is a journey, and I do feel you realize you're evolving, and you're very appreciative of that. We just have to keep going down this path, and I feel like you're not really going to veer off, but we get into mode sometimes where we get maybe, and it maybe a relationship come in and you just want to throw the whole thing to the curb, but you just kind of, you gotta make hay where the sun shines, right? You gotta go in the areas where it's blooming. So I feel like that's, what's going on here. And the relationship sector, I feel you're taking charge of, taking control of, in the good ways that, yeah, I'm worth more than that, so I'm not going to take that. And, and waiting and being very astute in what you do and don't want, and you're just going to go in that way. So you need to keep your soul's path in mind. This is really, I mean, there's a lot of things to fate here, and there's a lot of things that you have planned for yourself, so you need to remember that, keep that in mind. If I plan this for myself, what would I be doing? What would I be thinking? What was I thinking when I put this in my path? That's really kind of some of the things you need to go over, I guess. Be open to new possibilities in all areas of your life. So I feel like you may be coming off the high of all of this, stuff going on. You've made some progress. You've been rewarded. You've felt the highs, and you're starting to you've peaked and you're starting to come down. So we need to keep in mind that there's every opportunity that comes our way is an opportunity to advance forward. And we're kind of, like I said, getting off that high, so we're not looking as much as we were, or we aren't as excited as we were in the beginning of the path, right? Because it was all new and exciting. So we have to kind of ride that and still keep in mind all those things coming at you, because they are very valid and they are very much lesson-based things. These are the cycles too. So anything that comes in now is really to prepare you for where you're going here. And it seems like there's a relationship in the future coming from a very very opinionated, stubborn, but in good ways, solid and sturdy male, or or partner in the future. Someone who's very steadfast, very successful in their own right, and very much a leader type quality. So this is someone who's really going to give you a run for your money, in the way of, you don't control me type thing. But I think you'll have a meeting of the minds, and you'll just know where each person sits, because power meets power. And there we go. But that's coming in the future. And I feel like it may even be in the fall yet, like way down in the fall of 2018. But there's some cycles we have to get through first before I peek it too far in the future there and predict. We have to understand that there's a little bit that we have to go through. There's a little bit more cycles and soul path walking that we got to do. And in order to do that, a few of our cycles going to come back and hit us with a few things. I feel like we can breeze over it, but it's going to create problems in that relationship. So we need to kind of take the opportunities, right? The world that creates those opportunities, we need to take those opportunities and get the most out of it that we can, and then move forward from there. And then we'll be better based to handle that relationship that comes in the future. So for the Capricorn females, very good reading, more of a love reading on the side of things. That's what they're focused on. So hopefully this clears up some things. It's coming. He's just not right now. And it's not because he doesn't want to. It's just because the energy that you're resonating at needs to match to a degree where it will be successful. At this point, there could be some hang-ups, and we need to iron those out, and the universe is going to bring opportunities to you to do that. So hopefully that helps you. Take care over the winter season. If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Stay safe, have fun, be kind, and take care.